What's up, my fellow bookworms and otaku? Welcome back to Reading with an Otaku. I'm Jay Rockfreak, and today we're diving into another book spotlight. For those new here, a book spotlight is where I check out a preview, a summary, or sometimes just the first chapter of a book, and then I give you my honest first impressions. We'll talk about what hooked me, or didn't, what I thought of the characters, and ultimately, whether this is a book I'm going to commit to reading or listening to in its entirety. It's all about that initial spark, you know. Today, we're putting the spotlight on a title that's been buzzing around, Missing White Woman by Kellye Garrett. The tagline for this one is, "The truth is never skin deep," which immediately sets a very intriguing tone. And let me tell you, the premise itself, just from the summary, sounds like a compelling thriller. So here's the setup. We have Brina and her new boyfriend, Ty, on what's supposed to be a romantic getaway weekend in New York City. Ty thoughtfully has taken care of everything, the train tickets, dinner reservations, even renting this swanky 4-story luxury row house in Jersey City with a killer view of the Manhattan skyline. Sounds idyllic, right? But as these stories always go, perfect never lasts. On their final morning, Bree comes downstairs, and Ty is completely gone. Poof. And to make matters infinitely worse, there's a stranger dead in the foyer. Janelle Beckett, the missing woman the entire internet has become obsessed with. Bree is suddenly thrust into this nightmare scenario, facing both the police and an army of internet sleuths, all asking questions she has no idea how to answer. Desperate to find Ty and keep her own secrets buried, Bree turns to her ex-best friend, a lawyer with whom she shares a complicated past. The description also promises Missing White Woman is fierce, smart, and thrilling, exploring missing white woman syndrome and traveling while black. It aims to deftly invert domestic suspense tropes, asking how well we truly know the people we love and what happens to these stories when seen through a black woman's eyes. On paper, these important themes and gripping mystery premise drew me in. Now let's get into my actual first impressions. I listened to the preview for this book, which covered the first chapter. While I really hoped it would grab me from the jump, as the chapter progressed, I started to feel like that wasn't going to be the case. The beginning, establishing the setting and initial romantic vibe with Bree and Ty, was fine. But the characters themselves, particularly the boyfriend Ty, just didn't click with me right away. In fact, if I'm being brutally honest, from the very first chapter, I already knew not to trust him. That's a red flag for me in a thriller. When a character is immediately so suspicious that the reader can pretty much see through them from the get-go, it kind of deflates some of the tension. My biggest issue, though, was that, from just that first chapter, I could already pretty much tell the direction the book is going. For a mystery, that's not good. I shouldn't figure out the core plot or major twists before getting deeper. Part of the joy of this genre is being surprised, being kept on your toes. Anticipating big reveals from the opening pages makes me wonder about the rest of the story. So the million-dollar question, will I give the full book a read or a listen? My honest answer right now is, maybe, but probably not. It's truly leaning towards no. If I happen to stumble upon the full audiobook easily, perhaps it's readily available through my library or a subscription I already have, then I might give it a second chance. Books sometimes need more time to get going, and I try to give them a fair shake. However, given that I feel I already know where the story is heading, and the initial character interactions didn't quite hook me, my inclination right now is just to skip it. There are so many books in my TBR pile, and if the first chapter doesn't spark that undeniable, I need to know what happens next feeling, it's hard to justify the time commitment. Before I wrap this up, I want to touch on something important, especially for me as a black male reader. Sometimes, you feel this unspoken pressure, or at least I do, to have to enjoy a book by a black author. There's a valid desire to support and uplift, and I definitely celebrate black voices in literature. But at the same time, it's okay to not love every single book by a black author, just like it's okay to not love every book by an author of any other background. Art is subjective, and not every story is going to resonate with every person. My personal taste or expectations for a mystery weren't met by this preview, and that's fine. It doesn't diminish the author's work or its potential impact for other readers. It just means that, for me, this particular story didn't quite land. So while I'm not in love with this book, it might absolutely be something you are interested in, and I encourage you to check out the preview for yourself and form your own opinion. And there you have it, my honest, unfiltered first impressions of Kellye Garrett's Missing White Woman. I'm curious what you guys think. Have any of you read this book? Or maybe you've read other works by Kellye Garrett? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Did you feel the same way about the beginning, or did it totally grab you? If you enjoyed this book spotlight and want to see more content like this, please hit that like button, subscribe to Reading with an Otaku if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. As always, thank you so much for watching and for being a part of this community. Keep on reading, keep on exploring, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.